Sorry. We're rolling.
All right. Brian, we're starting with you today, buddy. I'm going to ask you a question.
Up?
That's right, baby. And Mike's
Let's
here
rock out
too.
with your cocks out.
I mean, we can. That's a different website, though. That's not
It's a
YouTube.
different-
That's
yeah.
a whole different thing.
My search history.
There it is.
We would have to charge for that account. Yeah.
Yes, we would. Well, I mean, it'd be great. We would finally monetize somewhere.
We can make money.
YouTube
I don't
will
think we
never
would.
make money.
No, I don't think we would. I think even if we charged,
We need a new marketing scheme, boys. Okay.
There it is. We got. So Brian, I'm going to ask you a question that I pretty much only ever ask my girlfriend. Brian, how was your day?
Oh, it was a rough one because I am in DC right now, and I was trying to watch the Jets and Patriots game, and it was like impossible to find a bar. So like I was like scouring, and I'm in the Navy Yard section, so I eventually found one.
Do you meet any hot sailor guys?
No, unfortunately not. I was around a bunch of miserable Commander fans, right outside the Nationals ballpark, too. But like it was, I was watching the Jets and Patriots game, and it was fun watching the Jets and Patriots game around Commanders fans because it made me feel superior for a change. Yeah. I was just like, Sam Howell is making Zach Wilson look like Tom Brady. That's how bad Sam Howell played today. I mean, it was amazing.
Let's get to that, Brian. Yeah. 16 straight losses to the Patriots.
Yeah.
I believe that's the correct number. I have to ask this question to you because obviously you're the resident Jets fan. Is this it? Is this finally the end of the Zach Wilson experiment? Is this game the one that breaks the fucking camel's back for Jets fans? Because I feel like it is.
Mean, you know what's, and this is kind of a little off topic, but it's not. I was talking about like Star Wars today and how like basically Star Wars, like the franchise, is in the better hands of the fans than it is with the George Lucas. And I kind of feel like the same way about the Jets because all Jets fans have been saying, you talk to multiple Jets fans and most who are in their right mind will say that Zach Wilson is not it. Right. So like, we're just kind of like, it's a car accident waiting to happen is what we're watching with this season with Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
I mean, that being said, both offenses played terribly today.
Bad game.
And like he honestly didn't have a terrible game, but like he's just not it, man.
They didn't make anything happen. They couldn't get past 4 downs from I was watching the beginning of it and then I had to do laundry. And thank God, because I needed to get away. They just couldn't do anything.
You couldn't make it till halftime to do your laundry, Mike? It was that boring?
It was hard. Well, yeah. And the thing is they took my advice and they started using Breece Hall, and he couldn't even run the ball. So we're out of options now. They got nothing.
The weather did affect the game. Am I wrong in saying that? Because it was pouring. It's been fucking in New York. It was pouring most of the day.
But they still lost. It's like it's not like both teams didn't score any points. The Jets just did nothing. It affected them more.
It was a boring game to watch. That was the worst part. Like I think even I was watching it, there was some Patriots fans and they're like, I hate this too. Like we won, but like that game sucked. Like I mean, like it was like mostly field goals and in regards to everything. And we almost got a Hail Mary at the end. It did get exciting towards the end.
Right.
We almost got that Hail Mary, but no, I'm over Zach Wilson. I've been over Zach Wilson. So if you ask me if it's the end, I've been pulling the plug on this experiment since Aaron Rodgers got hurt.
Would you hate fuck Zach Wilson?
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. I would I would make sweet love to Zach Wilson. And also listen, if Zach Wilson was as good at football as he was fucking his friend's mom, then like we'd be in the AFC Championship.
Is that what he did? I don't know.
He banged his best friend's mom. He banged his best friend's mom. He's a good-looking guy. Yeah, no, definitely. Zach Wilson can get it. That's not even a question. But no, he's it's no.
So that wouldn't even be a hate fuck. That would just be a regular fuck.
Yeah. There's no hate. There's no hatred to him because he's just like he's in a terrible position. I also feel for him. He was supposed to like really just shadow. This was his year to shadow one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
And
we lost Brian's audio.
Yep, Brian, big guy.
Your audio.
Brian. Oh.
He's on a roll too. He's got so much to say, and it's all provocative and
It's
groundbreaking.
probably really funny. It's probably great. Brian, can you hear me?
There he is.
We
lost your audio.
Yeah, we lost your audio, buddy.
Yeah, we lost your audio.
We literally can't hear a word you're saying.
He's so confused. His face. I'm not laughing at you. It's just.
We love you. We just can't hear you.
We can't hear. We got nothing.
Brian.
I didn't mute you or anything by mistake. So you're. Yeah, we lost your audio. Did you hit like your? He's.
Yeah, no, we can't. We still can't hear you, buddy.
What's this?
I'm trying to move.
There we go. There we go.
Are you?
I don't know what happened.
It blacked out there.
Are you on Wi-Fi or are you just using regular?
I'm on Wi-Fi right now.
You're on the hotel Wi-Fi.
Yeah, your hotel Wi-Fi must suck.
They're
probably was just Wi-Fi sucking. Is probably what that was. So I don't know what you're saying. You mentioned you're watching it and you're some Patriots fans. And can I just say, over the last like 4 or 5 years, just the slow descent of the Patriot fan has been a very funny thing to watch. You know what I mean? Because they were the cockiest fucks 5-6 years ago, and now they're just like completely apathetic and just
they're know what to do.
They're getting humbled. They're getting humbled. You're seeing it. And I mean, listen, the one thing I'll give Patriots and New England fans is they're a loyal fan base. You know, they are not bandwagon fans. Sports is a full-on religion.
Right.
I grew up on an hour outside Boston, and that's because like that's all there is to do up there. Like there's nothing to do except get drunk and fight with your family about politics and watch sports. There's really not a whole lot else going on up there culturally. Like in Boston's not a big city, by the way. It's not as big as people think it is. So there's not as many entertainment options as you find in, like a Chicago or a New York. So like the culture is sports culture in that area, and that kind of it's reflective in the fan base. They're really loyal. Even when the Celtics and Red Sox suck, they still show up. They pack the house.
Mm-hmm.
They are, and like New York also used to have like a very loyal fan base. In New York, I'm not saying like New York fans are bad fans, but like as a city, because in a way, I mean,
right? Well, terrible in a good way.
The city itself is full of transplants. That's like it kind of like is eroding the unity of the sports culture, because you have people like from like of New York, because you have people from like the Midwest. I remember there was a bar in the Upper East Side that they're like, we're a Steelers bar. We're just only a Steelers bar.
Those are everywhere. You name a random team, whether it's a random college football team or a NFL, whatever, there is a bar dedicated to that. Absolutely.
Yeah, but I feel like if there was a Steelers bar in like Philadelphia, they would burn it to the ground. They would.
No. You can only get away with that shit in New York. 100. Oh no, Philly fans, they would show up. They'd burn it to the ground, and they'd all show up the next day just to piss on the ashes, because the Philly's a hard town, man.
It's the same thing with DC too, because DC has like a bar dedicated to the Cowboys too as well, but that's because you have you have people coming to be interns to basically be a hospice nurse to whatever politician.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, I want to mention too, I'm surprised, Brian, that you went through that earlier today with the not finding a bar, because I know DC has a lot of transplants, kind of like New York does, or people are there on business because obviously it's like the political capital of the country. Like it was weird because most sports bars in the country, no matter where you are, you walk in and you just say to the bartender, "Hey, can you put this TV at the end on such and such a game?" And they always will. So I found that weird that you had to go to a bunch of different bars.
It was a dumb day because I went to one bar and basically they just only had the Bills, and I thought this was going to be a bar that was definitely going to have the game. And then they're like, "No, if you want to see like all NFL Sunday ticket, you got to go to like this sports bar." And of course every sports bar was like packed because it was like after 1 o'clock,
right?
So it was just like it was a bad call. It was literally a bad call, and I had two options. I was like, I could go to this bar down the street from where my apartment is right now, or I could go towards like the nation's capital and go to this bar around here that has like really good food.
You
And
storm the Capitol, just let me watch the game.
I do have a like kind of stop to steal beard going on right now.
Yeah, you definitely do. You're definitely the bear in your relationship for sure.
Yeah, no, I you know, no one would think that I'm like, you know,
you look like he just sat in
Hell's Kitchen.
You look like no, I was gonna say he looks like he just sat in Nancy Pelosi's chair and then stole her gavel and ran out.
Oh yeah, you put like a fisherman's vest and some flannel on Brian, and he definitely believes in all lives mattering. You know, that's how that goes.
Just get him some canvas sandals, and he's all set. You know.
All right, so back to New York sports. They all suck. We talked about this last week when I posed the question, you guys, who do we root for?
Right.
And I half jokingly but also sincerely was like, fuck it, let's root for the New York Liberty, which is the WNBA team. Right. Even they lost today. They lost in game 1 of the semis.
You said they were winning.
Yeah, I know. They're in the semis for WNBA, which is cool. They're in the last 4 teams, and they lost to the Connecticut Sun, which is sadly my hometown team. That's the closest professional sports team to where I grew up, because I grew up in the East End of Connecticut.
The Connecticut Sun?
The WNBA Connecticut Sun, baby. And so that's who beat the New York Liberty today.
So there's the Phoenix Suns and there's the Connecticut Sun.
No, it's the Phoenix Mercury, I think, in the WNBA.
No, but I know in the NBA it's the Phoenix Suns, and in the WNBA it's
Sun. Yeah, they don't want to pay for the S. It was too expensive in the WNBA to get the extra letter.
The whole fun of Suns is that if you turn it upside down, it looks like the same word. If you look at their logo, they designed it.
It's sun upside down. Just be nuss, uns. Hold on.
Nuss.
Ooh, no, uns, right?
Uns, right? The uns.
The Connecticut uns. Yeah, that's how that.
So
goes.
they lost all graphical achievement by going by the Sun, and it's just a ripoff of the Phoenix Suns.
I don't think it's a ripoff. I think the reason why they play that.
New York sports is in a bad place. So when we talk about WNBA teams for about 5 minutes,
and
like, so the Connecticut Suns. Am I right? Like, let's talk about that.
Well, the reason why they're called that is because they play inside the arena at Mohegan Sun. That's where you go. You
like
can
the Red Bull,
lose your life savings, and then they'll comp you a WNBA ticket afterward to make you feel better.
Oh,
I would actually go see a WNBA team.
Fuck like, yeah, I'm down. I'll go.
I mean, at this point, like I've given up on like so much of. I've given up on the Mets. I've given up on the Jets. Yeah, I'll go to a New York Liberty game.
Well, they're in the playoffs. If you want to go, you want to go to the Garden this week.
I may actually be down. Yeah,
I'll go. Listen, if we were an all WNBA podcast, we'd corner the market. 3 guys talking WNBA. We'd have the biggest podcast in the country.
No, it would be considered cultural appropriation. Okay, if we did that. But anyway, moving along. So the Jets suck.
It's poor women.
The Sun beat the Liberty. The Mets lost again. Oh, the Yankees. We'll talk about the Yankees. They got mathematically eliminated as of about 4 hours ago, 5 hours ago.
They're
officially out of it. Yeah, we did it. The season is mercifully coming to an end. I don't really have a whole lot to elaborate on other than I almost went to the game today. My girlfriend and I almost went, but we didn't. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
I didn't travel all the way to the Bronx from Brooklyn to go watch them lose in the rain. That made my day better, knowing that I didn't support the team.
It's such a joke because they're doing their own internal kind of investigation as to why they suck, and it comes down to they're relying on idiots with sabermetrics and Cashman. And that's it. You have to use the eye test at some point in sports. At some point, you have to get off the spreadsheets and the little calculators and the little Harvard nerds and whatever. And you have to go to sports minds. We lost Brian.
Brian again.
He blacked out like
he doesn't care about the Yankees anyway.
Yeah. It's like a Friday blackout.
Jonah Hill can't save this team. Okay.
Yeah.
The nerds can't do that right now. And keep going.
I was going to say you're right. The only reason that the Yankees became a success is because Steinbrenner got suspended, and that prevented them from getting rid of their prospects, which he loved to trade away, and then Gene Michael, a former Yankee player who became their GM, cultivated the team, and then Cashman came in and took all the credit. And
I wanted to think. I thought it was because Mariah Carey was banging Derek Jeter back then, and
I think that's why she had better music. Actually, I think it worked the other way around. Misogynist.
She was shacking up with a winner. Yeah, there we go. Got some misogynistic jokes in the show. We're trying to get Brian back in here. Oh well.
We're trying to. Speaking of misogynists, we're trying to get Brian.
I think you're right. You said a minute ago it's because of Cashman. I am one of the people who's been actively on the hashtag fire Cashman bandwagon for a while, and the reason why is because the team is essentially Aaron Judge, Garrett Cole, and a bunch of quadruple A players or guys who are older than I am. I'm 37, and just can't play anymore. The whole team, it's either has-beens, guys who didn't quite make it, and then there's 2 stars there. And like, with a small nod to guys like Holmes and Torres and them, the team just in terms of roster construction was garbage. And then you look at some of the teams that are in the playoffs. And by the way, as a teaser for next week, I'm going to do a fun thing where I do a Yankees fan, who do we root for this postseason sort of thing. I'm going to do a little countdown. That'll be next week, though, once the seeds are actually in.
We'll be waiting.
A team like Atlanta, in terms of roster construction, that is one of the best constructed rosters I've ever seen.
I wish the Yankees had Acuna. Acuna's like one of my favorite non-Yankees.
Every single position, including their setup men. The players in that team all range from above average to superstar. There's players in that whole team. It's a really good team.
Who's the guy in Atlanta? Who's the guy in Atlanta who's like has got the big home run numbers going on right now?
Acuna.
Who the Yankees could have traded for, by the way, and then they chose not to. They chose to re-sign Rizzo and do a combination of Bowers and Rizzo. And no disrespect to Rizzo because he was playing hurt most of the year,
and they didn't even know.
Or they knew and they didn't give a shit. But that's a whole different thing. So you know what we're gonna do? We're done with talking Yankees. Let's jump over to the Mets. Brian, I know you don't care anymore. Do you have anything to say, or do you want to just move on?
I mean, here's what I gotta say. I thought Scherzer was a very good pick, but like he turned out to be a bust. And he shit the bed last year in the wild card series against the Padres. So, but what I give him credit for is obviously he's a great pitcher, Hall of Fame pitcher, but he also was like, it's my fault. He didn't blame anything else. He wasn't a diva. He was like, no, this entire season, not the entire season, but like he basically owned up to his mistakes, which I really appreciated. I hate Justin Verlander. When he left, I was like, you know what, good riddance. He was terrible this year. I mean, like he's someone that I always hate. Here's something that I just hate about Verlander
strong word,
in general.
Brian.
Well, here's what I hate about Justin Verlander is because he was on record for complaining about like the manufacturing of baseballs or like the difference in like the manufacturing of baseballs because it made it easier to hit home runs. And I'm like, dude, you guys cheated. Like you're complaining, like you're cheating. Why are you complaining about like it being easier for anything? Why don't you look at your boy Altuve holding the wire, when he was running into,
by the way, for the record, I'm a Yankee fan who doesn't subscribe to that theory. I don't think he was wearing a 1980s.
You don't?
Movie wire. No, I mean, if here's the thing, he could have been cheating, but if he was, I don't think it was a wire. I think we have modern day technology. You could have something way smaller than a wire to set up a buzzer with. I really don't think that was.
And I don't like the Yankees, but I agree with Yankee fans in the fact that I don't like the Astros either.
And by the way, if they miss the playoffs, which they might, I will have a full-on celebration on next week's fucking show. I am excited because they've been losing. They lost 2 straight to the Royals, which is
I don't know if they go, it might be a good thing because then Cashman can't say, "Look, the Astros lost 2, so maybe we're not the ones with the problem." He'll find some kind of excuse to not blame himself for how crappy the team is.
But in regards to the Mets, just in general, I think what we need to do is we need to invest our money in a smart way because Steve Cohen just in general, he has a ton of money to play with, which is great. But then we make, I don't want to make more Bobby Bonilla decisions. I don't want to make more dumb decisions. Like we have these great resources. Let's use it smartly. So we'll see.
Well,
but yeah, I don't know. It was a very depressing season after
one thing I'll say about that,
great
Brian, was that I was one of the people who while he did spend a lot of money in the offseason last year, I didn't think he spent it smart, because you look at some of the guys who he did sign, it almost felt like he literally just said to like the GM at the time, I forgot what the guy's name was, he said to him like, hey, just sign like all the free agents. But the thing is, last year's free agent class wasn't necessarily that strong. Like Mark Canha is a good player, but not a superstar. Yeah. Who's the other guy? I mean, I love David Robertson, former Yankee. He's good, but not, a superstar. Yeah. And then they signed, what was the other guy, the center fielder? They signed a bunch of guys who were slightly above average players who weren't superstars. And I don't know what he was thinking, because the only big money in the last 5 years I'd say was smart for the Mets to give out was actually Lindor. And I know that's controversial to Mets fans. I'm a Yankee fan. I don't care what you think anyway. But he hasn't lived up to his contract yet. But he's still the least sucky of a lot of the major signings. Because look, Scherzer was a bust. Verlander was a bust. It's a situation where spending a lot of money does not necessarily equal a good team. You have to spend it smart. Of course. That was back to what you just said, Brian.
Yeah, and no, I agree. We didn't spend it smart. We were just like, oh, Justin Verlander, he's a good name. Let's just get him. And Max Scherzer, I think Max Scherzer was a very promising pickup. But
he just was a bust in the playoffs.
Yeah, he was just a bust. But Verlander, I was like, I honestly wasn't crazy about it but that was also just because I don't like him. I just don't like him. Yeah.
All right, so. Rangers opened today. Michael, would you like to talk about that?
Today was the first day of NHL preseason hockey. The Rangers were delayed in getting to Boston because of the weather. And it's funny, when I saw that it said the Rangers have travel difficulties today, I'm like, they can't get to the Garden, but it was the Boston Garden. It's not the Madison Square Garden. So, but it makes sense, like I could see the Rangers not being able to take the subway during the rain in New York because it flooded and there's pizza rats everywhere, But anyway, regardless, they went to Boston. They lost 3-0, but it's preseason. It doesn't mean anything. They're trying stuff out. So hockey season's around the corner. We will go back to the Garden and sit in those giant nosebleed seats. We literally sat in the nosebleeds where we had a section all to ourselves and watched the whole game. We sat above the nosebleeds, and they have a night. Well, I didn't want to describe it because people are going to come take our seats. So there.
Yeah, no. We're in the very top row of the entire Garden, which were the only seats we can afford pretty much at that point.
Not the little walkway, not that thing. We were above that.
So that is the team, and you did mention that last week, that the Rangers and the Knicks are the two teams that, as New York fans, we gotta start paying more attention to try to kind of pull ourselves out of this hole as a city. So I definitely am. I'm gonna have to pay a little more attention this year, because I'm just so disgusted with how everything's going with the Giants and the Yankees and all this. We're gonna have to. You know how it is, but when your main teams suck, you kind of find other teams and other things kind of scratch that competitive itch.
Right.
Yeah, so we're going to
learning about rugby and lacrosse, and you start playing chess. You do, you get to those hobbies you hadn't gotten to all year because you were too busy watching football or baseball, and you're like, oh, maybe I'll finish that jigsaw puzzle of my grandmother. We had her photo sent to Walmart, and they turned it
into a living grandmother. Good for you, man.
No, I'm just saying, something somebody would do. But
okay.
That's Mike's Saturday night, right?
Oh yeah.
He's like, who wants to do the jigsaw puzzle with their grandma? Am I right?
Totally. Right? Yeah.
It's good.
Immediately afterward, you go and
I like how we got serious.
Men.
Like, yeah.
All right, so I don't have a whole lot else to talk about. Mike, do you have a fight video for us this week, or anything else you guys want to mention before we move on to that?
I want to look into designing some Nosebleeders t-shirts, so we'll have some merch. So at least people have something when they look at our videos, not just our great faces, but they'll have a chance to buy some merch. I'm working on it.
I would love a Nosebleeders shirt. I would love that.
We'll have that for sale. Maybe some shirts based off of our previous episodes, and I'm trying to figure out how we can get some things done with. I had bought a t-shirt from another website, and it was Larry Bird and Bill Lambier fighting, and I'm like, we should be making those kind of t-shirts. So we'll see. I don't know how to draw, but maybe we'll hire an artist, the person who did our logo. Maybe they can do T-shirts for us or pictures, and we sell them and give them no money, and we take all the money.
All right, so
because that's America, right?
When more than 12 people watch this show, we can definitely get.
So Kathy Rabidow is
Kathy Rabidow, exactly.
There we go. She's gonna be with all the merch.
Yeah,
we
want to do that.
All up.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a fight from my birth year, 1986. Is that right, Mike?
Oh. Well, were you born that year? You would know. I don't know.
I was 1986.
Okay. Well, then you're right.
Yes, I do know what year I was born in. Thank you for asking. I do remember. Thank you.
All right, let's. He was there. All right, this is Jets Bills 1986, and the Jets are on defense. Jim Kelly's the quarterback, and Ken O'Brien is the quarterback for the Jets. And you believe this was a curse?
Yes, this is part of the Jets' curse. In the draft of 1983, we could have gotten Dan Marino, a Hall of Fame quarterback. Instead, we got Ken O'Brien, who was Ken O'Brien. That's all you have to say. He was Ken O'Brien.
Ken O'Brien sounds like the name of like one of Brian's alcoholic uncles.
He's a part of the O'Brien clan, Uncle Ken. He only drove over a kid once, so okay, all right. And we can't even prove that he actually did it. Uncle Ken, he's a barrel of laughs.
Yeah, like 3 more years and he'll get out from under that DUI. He's fine. Okay.
So
I
like to open our sports fights with a morbid drunk driving joke.
Every time. All right. So Mike, bring us through this clip. What do we got here?
Yeah. So we'll have to we'll watch the first part, and then we'll get to a moment where we can't talk. We have to hear what the referee says, and then it'll show a replay. So let's go to the fight.
Okay.
Check it out.
All right.
So the Bills have the ball, and simple. Back to pass, Kelly. He gets hit hard. It's out of bounds. And Marty Lyons is just ripping him to shreds.
It cuts to a guy who's got him in the no guard just on top of him, poking his eyes or something. Okay.
That guy in the Bills put his helmet on to come out into the field. He was ready to throw down too. That was a little wild. And this is like for football, that's a big melee. And they're heated right now. This is a lot. And he's cursing.
Foul. I'll pick this up. On number 99 of the defense, after he tackled the quarterback, he's giving them business down there. That's a 15-yard penalty.
Marty Lyons giving him and here he is giving him the business. That's hot.
I'm not a professional fighter.
Brian, giving him the business. What do you think?
He's definitely giving them the business. It's getting me a little hot right there.
Is that what they call it in your community? Giving them the business?
Yeah, that's what maybe a boomer would call it. Like, where are these people giving them each other the business in these communities? Right?
Is that like a boomer who just came out of the closet and is like trying to look away like younger gays? He's like, so where do you young fellas go to give each other their business?
Yeah,
it's like he was mixing pizza dough or something, Like,
I like this guy. I've seen this clip somewhere before. I think I saw it on like Instagram or somebody. Maybe when you sent it to me like last year, Mike. That's really funny.
I like the guy
brawl.
If you look at this guy in the lower right on the Bills, he puts his helmet on to join the fight. You'll see him come into the screen
helmet back on.
Here we go. Now we're fighting. He's smart. He doesn't want to get punched in the head, so he knows.
That's awesome. I like that. As far as a brawl goes, there's not much of a brawl. It's just one guy being a dick, but it is really funny. I'll give that like a 5. Just because that sound clip is very funny. I mean, that's extremely quotable.
Right.
That ref is, I assume this is more infamous than I know it just because the clip's, a few months older than I am.
Right.
What do you think, Mike?
I guess 6. It's right around what you said, 5, 6. So maybe a 6, just because the referee announcing it makes it funnier.
It does. Makes it way funnier.
And the Jets won that game by 1 point. So Jets fans, at least you got something out of it.
At least you got a win in 1986.
Yeah,
1986. Last time
Brian was born. There we go.
Brian, what do you think?
What do you think of the business?
I'm gonna give it a 5 because of we always say this: football fights, they have to be spectacular to really get our attention.
Yeah.
because obviously they get their aggression out in football, so it's not as much like there's not as much pent up rage as there is in baseball, where they're just standing around waiting for someone to hit the ball. And yeah, so I give it a 5. I go with Phill on this one, but giving him the business was hilarious
That is very
too
funny.
as well. So yeah, I'll give it a 5.
Fantastic.
All right.
None of us knew what to say right there.
No, I think, yeah, I think that we have officially we've done our business here for about the amount of time, right? I think that's a good place to end. The business has been given.
The business has been given,
New York sports teams all still suck.
We're all upset
Brian
about
is
it.
still gay, and I'm gonna go drink something because I didn't even mention the Giants that much this week, but
they suck.
Whatever,
They're
we'll get to them. They suck too.
We'll talk about them next week. Next week we'll talk about the Giants.
Whatever. All right. Anything else to add, Brian? Or are we good to go fuck ourselves this week?
Brian is
go fuck
inside
yourselves.
Brian's in a plant right now. If you haven't noticed, he's in the mouth of a plant. He's like a little shop of horror right now.
It's like in Super Mario Brothers, like that big.
Can you see it at all?
You have to jump over with the.
Yeah, there's a big leaf like reaching for your face in the lower corner of your screen.
Yeah. Right next to your left elbow.
It looks like
a big leaf.
It's like a little shop of horror. Like they put the camera
in
the thing's mouth. Yeah.
That is the most professional way to end this episode. All right. I'll talk to you guys next week, man. Peace.
Later.
All right. Peace.